Good morning, Veronica.
Good morning. I was muted.
So far, so good.
You didn't go back to the center.
I didn't go back to the center.
No, we thought you would be recording from the center this morning.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm going to do the class from here, and then I'm going back over there.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah, I've got some sorting and stuff to do. I've got a list. I got a few projects on the list that I have to be there for. So I'm going to go over and do that stuff. Looks like Wanda is here. At least a photograph of Wanda is here.
Yeah.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Yeah.
Good morning.
It's a nice photo of Wanda. So.
It is a nice.
It's a younger one. It's a younger one.
Is that a younger one?
I couldn't find any ones up to date.
I see.
Do you remember who took that picture, Wanda?
Yes, my oldest grandson took it.
Okay, because that says a lot. The person behind the camera, and he loves you very much.
Oh, well, thank you. Yeah, he's my first.
Yeah.
He's 30 years old now.
You grow up.
I think, yeah,
they do. I mean, they do. Yeah, as we go, they go too.
Yeah, but you always see him as a kid,
Oh yeah.
No matter
Yeah, sometimes they don't get that, that they will.
Okay, so everybody's doing well this morning?
Yeah.
We're gonna have a nice warm day today too. They said the upper 70s. Woo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, actually, I think Maria and I are going to try to get to the botanical garden tonight to go see the light show.
Oh, yes,
Oh,
yes.
It's
awesome.
Yeah,
always gorgeous.
yeah.
Yeah, because tonight the coldest it's supposed to get is I think like 40, like 45 or 46, you know, at night,
Mhm.
you know, and she can handle that. You know, she doesn't like it, but she can handle that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You know,
I'm with her on that. I don't like it, but okay.
but trying to take her to the botanical garden on a night when it's in the 30s is like, I'm not doing that.
No.
Okay.
Yeah, we would be there all of about 10 minutes, and then it would be like, we got to go home. So,
Yeah.
yeah, she is not a cold weather girl, which is fine. You know? So anyway, okay, so let's just jump into it. You know, maybe well, Eloise is here now. Okay, so we're going to do a couple of things.
Morning.
Good
Morning.
morning.
Yeah, so I'm going to do a couple of things today. We're going to do some drawing, but we're also going to look at some classical drawings. And I'm going to try to point out some things to you to make you aware of them so that maybe you can incorporate them into your own approach to drawing, okay? And so, but before we get into that even, I'm going to show you what a Confederate rose looks like, okay? Because
Oh,
we
we're
had
going to
that.
see the real deal today, huh?
Yeah,
What,
because
a Confederate Rose?
yes, a Confederate rose, okay?
Okay.
Yeah, well, we had this discussion, and then I think somebody went online and got a picture or something, but it wasn't a Confederate rose. Anyway. So I'm going to share with you what a Confederate rose looks like. Everybody see that big green bush there?
Oh,
Yes,
yeah.
yes.
Okay. Well,
Charles, I think it's in the hibiscus family.
yeah, it is. It's related. You know, I've actually Richard Johnson did a fair amount of research on them, and actually gave me a package. Somehow he got a package of seeds of them as well. But you know, it's a fairly tall bush. You know, right now the one that's over at my house is probably about 14 or 15 feet tall,
Wow.
and
Wow.
they die back every year. You know, they will go dormant for a few months. Usually they're kind of dormant around about springtime, and they look dead. And then, you know, probably late spring, early summer, they start putting up new shoots. And from what I've been told about them, you're supposed to cut all the dead growth back because it's just dead wood and nothing's going to sprout from it again. It will put up all new shoots. So every year it comes back and it gets quite large. But you can see here that there's flowers that are really kind of light pink at this stage. And then there are darker flowers and as well. And so what happens when the flower opens up in the morning, it's a very light pink, almost white. And then as the day goes on, it gets darker and darker until, you know, this is kind of about, this is still probably pretty early, right? But, you know, as the day goes on, this flower will get to be kind of this dark, almost, you know, magenta color. But that's a Confederate rose, for those of you who were interested. Any comments? Anybody got anything to say about Confederate roses, flowers, things like that?
Very pretty plant. I like that it grows into such a tall bush.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
And it's paternal. It's a, what do you, perennial?
Perennial.
So it comes back every year? Yeah, I
Right.
like that.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a perennial. Yeah. You don't have to replant it. You know, and it's like every season, it's like the base of it, you know, just broadens out, and so it takes up more and more space. That's kind of the downside of it, you know, for me. is that it kind of spreads and widens out, and they get quite large. So you want to be careful about planting them like next to houses and stuff like that. They will grow right up against the house. So you need to do a little bit of planting on that.
Maybe you have to prune it every year.
Well, yeah, it's when it dies back, you're supposed to cut off all of the dead wood all the way back to the ground. And then, like I said, it starts all new in kind of late spring, early summer, putting up new shoots. And you know, it grows, you know, really fast. So, at any rate. So now we're going to move on. We're going to look at some classical drawings, okay? Now, how many people have looked at drawings from, say, the Renaissance? And many of you taken any time to look at the drawings from that period of time?
They are very linear. It's a lot of work to do those things. Like what some of the masters did.
Mm-hmm.
They were engineers, I guess.
Well, I think a lot, you know, if you look back at the sketchbooks of Leonardo da Vinci, for example, or any of the Renaissance artists, in most cases, they were working with a pen and ink. They didn't use a lot of pencil. You know, graphite was not an option. They had charcoal, and charcoal in a sketchbook doesn't last, you know, very long. And so most of the drawings in the sketchbook would be not a charcoal, but instead a pen and ink. And they used what they call a ball ink, you know, to do the drawings. Once you get up to the later Renaissance, then you start getting drawing materials like Contes, pastels, things like that, that are more permanent and that are easier to work with and won't, you know, disappear, you know, in a sketchbook. And then by the time that you get to, I think, probably about the 16 or 1700s, you're beginning to see graphite as a drawing material as well, but not really before that. So that had a lot to do with the influence of the drawings and how they were done and the look of them. And that's why in the Renaissance, in particular, the drawings were more linear. Even though they, you know, they found ways of creating tone and gradations and things like that, they were still limited in the materials. By the time that you got to about the 16th to 17th century, though, you started seeing drawings more like this. Okay, and this is a you know, probably a French academic drawing. And if you look at it, it has a lot of the elements that, you know, I talk about. You know, as far as use of line, use of tone, kind of key in on a couple of areas. So when I say